Arsenal clear at the top, 5 points clear. No one saw the Man City defeat coming. It happened, and then Arsenal pounced. What you saying, Igal? What you saying now? Sort of 48 hours later, you've got that big cushion at the top. Can relax now until Boxing Day. You've got almost a 2-game insurance policy now at the top of the league, flying high. Talk to us.
You know what? With all the emotion of the game over, and I'm just looking back, I'm saying, you know what? That was a nervy game. I feel like a lot of the performances we've grown as a team because we see games where we have first halves where we're poor away from home, and then second halves we click into gear and we win the game 2-0. And Odegaard stepping up with 2 goals. Gabriel, who's been criticized majority of the season, stepping up with a goal. This team is coming together, Terry, and I'm really liking it. I'm seeing a lot of improvements from a lot of our players, such as Gabriel growing in as the season's gone on. He's continued to play better and better, and the way that we're playing right now, one of the best attacks in the league, or maybe the second best attack right now in the league, excluding City. One of the best defenses in the league. I just hope that we can continue to keep the good times rolling, man, because we're actually looking like a threat.
You are looking a threat. I mean, what are you saying, George? Like you're smiling there. What are you saying, bro? Go on.
No, do you know what? Yeah, they're looking good. They are looking good. But for me, I keep saying it, and it sounds salty, but I'm just waiting for a lot of these players for their form to run out. Because let's be honest here, a lot of these players are in top form. They're playing the best they have in a while. And you're talking about, if you're going to talk about this last game, Gal, it might not be this last game, but form isn't just one game. It's a span of games, 6 or 7 or 8. And your players are playing, quite a few of them, out better than they have over the past year. The likes of Odegaard starting to pick it back up. He didn't start too well, but then he started to pick himself back up. Partey, Saka, Martinelli, even the likes, you've got Vieira coming in, adding Xhaka. You've got a lot of players that are playing better than they have or than they are. They're just playing better than they are. So for me, I'm going to see that when we come back from this break, Arsenal are a balloon just waiting to be deflated. And you guys are going to, as time goes on, the form, I believe some of these players are going to drop off in form, not all of them. And then I'm going to start to see the team start to get picked apart. I do believe that they have improved, though, drastically since the start of the season. I do think that you guys are starting to really show that you do have a great way of playing football. You have the champagne.
Is that not a credit to Arteta, though? But I ain't seen you say there's no credit to Arteta for that, though, because you're going to have to say, like, look, he's got his team done 2-3 years in. You could say, like, the players are looking better.
I was just about
he's
to
got
get
a couple profiles.
That's what I was saying.
Okay, fair enough.
I was literally just about to say they play this champagne football because of the time frame they've had to really build into it. It's not just come out of nowhere. They took 2 years of playing rubbish football and sort of having a good game and then playing a bad game and having 45 minutes against Man City and then not turning up against Burnley. Like, this is what Arsenal was, and now they're starting to find themselves where they're playing the same football. They're starting to find a consistency, but we all know what's going to happen, man. Once the pressure gets put on and Man City really start to step it up into the later stages into the season, Arsenal are going to deflate. Arsenal are going to drop off. That's how they did against Newcastle and Newcastle Spurs last season. They crashed.
I feel like there's a little bit of hope there in what you're saying. But when you said form, right? You do realize Odegaard has had a lot of bad patches this season. Jesus, we've already spoken about it numerous times.
I didn't mention him because 0 goals in 11 games. Enough said.
12.
Numerous times about Jesus. But Bukayo Saka and Martinelli, both now to be seen to having a really good season. But at times in the season, Bukayo Saka, it looked like he was having a slow start, and Martinelli has been pretty consistent for the majority of the season. Xhaka, I'll give it to you. Xhaka has been on good form. And then you can look at Saliba, also been on good form. So bar like 2 players, really and truly, the 11, it's been pretty much like one person picks it up here, another person picks it up here. It's been a great team performance throughout the whole season. It's not been like one player has been carrying us.
And that's what I said. I said a lot of your team, a lot of these players are playing better than they are. They are picking it up when they need to, but they're not going to continue to do that because we know these players. We know these players very well. We know the likes of Martinelli. He didn't have a goal contribution for the last 6 months of last season. He disappears. He's a young player. It happens. Saka, his performances have been well and he's been consistent for a while, so no one's going to doubt him. But the likes of Vieira, you can't rely on as a backup. He looks decent, but you can't rely on.
Why was the form drop off?
But you're pointing out backup.
Why is the form going to drop off?
You're not pointing out any of the starters.
Why is the form going to drop off? Because we know Arsenal. We watched them last season.
No, but that's hopeful.
They go through these patches. You know an Arsenal. You know,
and wait, Tom, if you saw Arsenal last season, expectations. You would know
that
about
last season,
they had a similar.
Wait, George. Guys.
Tom, go.
Talk about this season.
last year is last year, and also last year their main aim was to get top 4, so they were battling for that right at the end. This year, they're not going into this expecting a title challenge, expecting to be battling with Man City week in, week out. So there's less pressure. There's more just enjoying the situation that they're in. There's more confidence about themselves compared to last year, where it was this. There was all this pressure around the club. What's going to happen if we don't get top 4? That goes on to the players now. There's just we're enjoying the situation we're in, where we're first. We didn't expect to be playing well. Keep going with it. Keep enjoying the vibe that's created. That's why I don't see this form just tear off the cliff. They'll just keep going and going and going.
Because you sit top of the league, and then you think you're comfy getting top 4, and then that's where the complacency sets in. Last season, I'm not talking about the back end of last season. Egal will know better than me. I don't really know the period, but I'm sure it's between December and like February or somewhere around that, where Arsenal they went 10 wins in 13 games. So they've done this type of form before. They've shown that they can do consistency over a short period of time. But that doesn't mean that they're going to drag it on for the full season. And they've shown this Arsenal team that they do lack consistency across a full season. And I expect, off of recent history, that it's going to continue to show.
We keep doing this thing though, George. Even as a United fan, this makes me sick. But we keep doing this thing. Oh, but next game. Oh, but no, but in the next couple games, Oh, don't worry. In this month, they're going to flop. Oh, look, bro, it's continuous. Why is it? Bro, last season, Liverpool were doing quadruple nearly last season. Look where they are this season. Like, I hate to do this. It's horrible. I've said it time and time again on here. But everybody in the comments needs to put salt emojis towards George right now. That's all I'm gonna have to say, because he can't handle this being a random fan. Salt emoji. Salt emojis. Nah, man.
Top,
look,
I'm gonna be.
Arsenal will drop points. Arsenal will drop points, but so will everybody else. They will get injuries, but so will everybody else.
Look at what you've done. You went from saying Arsenal are going to drop off to now saying, oh, when Arsenal don't finish first. So your drop off is saying we're not going to finish.
I never said what the drop off is. I just said when that happens. Your drop off will be.
What do you consider the drop off? What do you consider the drop off? Just so
the thing is that I don't get here, Egal, is you time and time again is you say what is the drop off. Second, third, and fourth is the exact same thing. You're just going to be the first loser, second loser, and third loser. You don't get no benefits for finishing second, third, or fourth.
So you're conceding that.
So if your drop off is to second, and then we finish third, you can celebrate it. But in my eyes, it's not going to be nothing big. It's just going to be you lost the title.
So
in the fashion that you did.
Is that what you're hinting again? Because when you keep
I've not hinted nothing. You can throw that in there. I said if.
Because you're smiling. You're smiling. I want to know. Is that what you're implying by last season? We've seen it last season. Is that what you're implying? That Tottenham is somehow going to miraculously finish above Arsenal again?
Miraculously. I don't know how much points the gap is, but to you, 14 games in, there's a good 22 to go or 24 to go. How much points do you think that the gap is that we can't come back? 8 points is that much that you think that we can't
also we played one less game than you. But anyways, continue.
That game is against.
Yeah, but by that logic, George, like you're kind of like this season, I've heard like you guys laugh at the teams behind you that are like Liverpool and Man United are closer to you than you are to Arsenal.
100%. And again, Terry, if you want to call me out for that, you can call me out for that.
I'm not calling you out. I'm trying to understand the logic. It's also like your logic around we're different now. Tottenham, we could win a trophy this year. Obviously, no one showed up on Friday's show to rep Tottenham after you went out of and it's just I just find the logic interesting that you guys have changed and you're going to start winning, but Arsenal haven't and they're going to fall away. But I think the fall away argument for me is so interesting because they're still not the favourites to win the league with a 5-point gap. City are still the favourites with pundits. They're still the favourites with the bookies. Arsenal have just moved into a realm of they could win the league with most people, not I think they're going to. And equally, I don't just necessarily think finishing second is always like the same as finishing fourth. It depends on trajectory and how far you are behind top. Because if, let's just say City win the league with 95 points and Arsenal come second with 93, but the team in third place have 75 points, there is a fundamental difference between positionally, no, what you achieve, no, but in terms of favourites to challenge the next year, how you can sell that to potential people you're trying to buy, being that like you're actually in a title race rather than just the top 4. So I think you've got to contextualize that a little bit. But Arsenal can win this league. I 110% they can win it. And having this 5-point gap,
God forbid,
massive. It is massive.
Terry, didn't Chelsea have a 5-point gap at Christmas last summer?
Yeah, but were they okay? Question to you then. No, yeah. Were Chelsea playing as well winning games as comfortably as Arsenal have been in these opening 14 games?
No, but the difference is for me is that Chelsea had a manager that knew how to get the good job done, and the reason why that they didn't have to do it in that fashion is because
When did he ever win a league besides the French league?
I said knew how to get the job done in games. No one's talking about leagues, Egal. So just hold up a second. Arteta's never won a league, so your point is irrelevant. He doesn't know how to win a league. So for me, in my eyes, none of these players in your team have won a league. So for me, there's a lot of things that I look at and say this team's just not ready for it, and the manager's not ready for it, and the players aren't ready for it.
You know what?
That's what I see. You need a stepping stone.
A lot of Arsenal players have won stuff though.
You don't go from finishing at 5th, 8th to then winning the title. It just doesn't happen.
Question here from one of our members says: Should they win the league from this point?
I think majority of people will still say City, even with a 5-point gap. They could easily close it on.
They love a chase, man. They love a chase. City. Look, 5-point gap is not enough for City, man, because they will turn. We all know they've done it year on year out. They turn into different monsters when it comes second half of the season, and they do. 5 points is not enough. It's nowhere near enough to win the league. But
do not let them win that Carabao Cup. You're not stopping them.
I'm not joking. I think I have to declare it. I saw a question. Somebody said, who I'd rather win? Manchester United fan, Arsenal, or Man City? I'm sorry, but it has to be Arsenal, man. Look, I can't stand the fan base, but I don't know if I could take a year of it, but Man City doing a triple, like leagues, they are the true rivals at the end of the day, and I don't think I want to see that nowhere near, not even have one treble Premier League thing. So I think I'd rather would. But if that means a gal is going to be annoying for a year than it already is, shit, man, that's torturous.
You know, people over on the Man City side of things, some Man City fans are taking it more serious than others. I see some Man City fans saying stuff like, "Oh, Arsenal are actual threat. They're worried. They're like they're
I don't think you get it, gal. They need to build this up. They need to make it seem like they're going to do something well when they win this league. That it wasn't easy. They're going to say we beat this big Arsenal team. we got over the Arteta team. That's what
it is what it is. Honestly, at this moment in time, all I gotta say is this Arsenal team defensively, we are still one of the best defensive teams in this league, and that is the bedrock of our team. So Manchester City, what we've seen from them is they're leaky. If there's any chance Arsenal is going to actually do something and win this league, it's off the back of our defense being that solid and Man City still being leaky and giving away goals. Because if you watch that Brentford game, it could have ended easily 3-1.
It should have been 3-1.
There's a question here. There's a question here.
4-1.
Curious George, I think this is for George. Jesus has not scored for 7 games, and Arsenal are still top. What happens when he starts scoring again?
Okay, this is a great question because at the start of the season, I told people
why are you answering it?
It's a great question because he's not a goal scorer, and you check his Premier League record. He's scored above 10 Premier League goals once in the past 5 seasons. So he's never going to start scoring again. He's never going to score at a prolific level. And if he does start to score, it might be 5 or 6 more Premier League goals this season. He's got.
Would you care though? Would you care though if you get 99 goals in a season?
Wait, I don't know. Wait, Gal, give it a second. Wait, give it a second. And this is wrong. It's not 7. He's gone 11 games without a goal. 11 games without a goal for the striker that you said was going to compete for Golden Boot, Gal. You said he's going to compete for the Golden Boot. Why don't you answer that question? Is he still competing for the Golden Boot?
By the way, I only said he'd get 15 to 17 goals. I never said 20. That is a fact. And you guys can remember and go pull up the tape if you want to pull it up. Second of all, when it comes to Gabriel Jesus, the question was for me, my guy. I felt like
no, it was for George. Okay, I think he thinks George's name is George because Kaz says it does sound quite a lot like George. It was for Jordan. It was for Jordan. Yeah, 100%.
I thought the question was for me, and the way that you jumped at it, it just feels like you're a little bit worried of the possibility of what this team could be with our number 9 actually banging goals. And also, just so you guys know, the Manchester City have won their last couple of seasons without an actual number 9. Am I wrong? When you look at some of these teams that have won the league over the last couple of seasons, they didn't actually have traditional number 9s. You look at, I think the Chelsea team, I think they did. I'm sorry, but Man City's teams definitely didn't have a number 9.
Well, Man City had Jesus. He just didn't make the 11.
And Liverpool's team, Firmino wasn't a traditional number 9 either. So when you're looking at it,
the point isn't a traditional number 9. The point is if he's not being a traditional number 9, he's feeding your other 2 players who will pick up the slack that he's going to leave behind. Do you see the big thing is Saka? are Saka and Martinelli going to get 20 plus this season? Because that's
Bro,
been the
it's not only
standard
about
of.
Saka and Martinelli. My main thing is the goals coming from everywhere. The midfielders are banging in 2 goals. You got Xhaka popping up with goals. You got Partey popping up with goals. You got our center backs popping up with goals. And the whole team is contributing. That's why we have 33 goals. It's not because of Saka, Jesus, and Martinelli. It's because of the whole team. And guess what?
Yeah,
If Jesus starts banging it in,
That's
be afraid.